I think there's a sense of pride in seeing something you've made on a Sunday afternoon being raced around a racetrack.
When a car breaks down on circuit, it's a massive blow, but we all want to be able to get that running again, so we'll do whatever it takes.
As we approach the Australian Grand Prix, Red Bull has won the first two races of the 2023 Formula One season, leaving its competitors playing catch-up. With technical graphics from Giorgio Piola, Mark Hughes examines the components of Red Bull's vehicle. These components may be crucial to the leader's successful start to 2023. Even if this year's vehicle resembles last year's in terms of appearance, Red Bull's greater performance advantage this season has opponents keenly scrutinising the RB19. Among competing F1 teams, the efficiency of Red Bull's RB19 DRS has emerged as the most sought-after trade secret. In an effort to duplicate its performance, rival specialists, including those from Ferrari, have been gradually decoding its precise workings. Given that the RB19 has been on average 0.6 seconds faster than every other vehicle during the first two races, a difference that might be bigger if Red Bull weren't playing all they have, it feels like the Constructors' title is already lost. After Zhou Guanyu recorded the fastest lap at the Bahrain Grand Prix, Red Bull scored 87 out of 88 points, falling short of achieving point perfection. Red Bull is 49 points ahead of Mercedes and Aston Martin. Red Bull's technical staff deserve a ton of praise for creating a monster that Lewis Hamilton thinks is more dominating than anything he has ever seen in Formula One. Red Bull's floor design, which is said to be a major contributing element to their supremacy this season thanks to Sergio Perez's notorious Monaco qualifying performance. It's time to learn about the aerodynamic techniques used by the Red Bull engineers and how they help to make the RB19 so much faster than its rivals. It raises the issue of how Red Bull was able to develop a car that is perhaps the most dominant in recent history, given that the team seems unbeatable on both World Championship fronts. It is difficult to understand how this element functions because it seems to be dependent on a number of interrelated aspects. These aspects include the dynamics of the car, notably how the rear suspension responds when the DRS is used, and go beyond simple aerodynamics. It has become clear from an aerodynamic perspective that the relationship between DRS activation and the car's diffuser is essential. Other teams are now aware that the diffuser stalls in a straight line at top speed, with the activation threshold altering depending on whether the vehicle has high, medium or low downforce. We must first explain how current F1 vehicles produce downforce in order to understand the aerodynamic concepts at work. The core idea depends on the inclusion of Venturi tubes in the floor plan of the automobile. As an illustration, if we narrow a tunnel that air is already travelling through at a given speed, the air will dramatically accelerate there and the pressure will fail. This is exactly what the floor of the vehicle and other aerodynamic elements do. The suction effect occurs when low pressure beneath the automobile and high pressure above combine to drag the vehicle towards the track, producing downforce. It is crucial to remember that the downforce increases with decreasing pressure and speed of the airflow beneath the automobile. Later, we shall explore this in further depth. Inversely, correlated with the downforce produced by the chosen arrangement is the threshold. In general, the threshold is between 230 km an hour for the highest load configuration and 260 km an hour for the lowest load configuration. However, it appears that the diffuser channel's profile, particularly their section, is still another important component. The diffuser, which is situated at the back of the Venturi tunnels, is another crucial component of the system. The airflow at low pressure is progressively brought up to atmospheric pressure by the diffuser. The Venturi tunnels would not function properly without this moderate and gentle rise, leaving the entire system inoperable. Now that we are familiar with the fundamentals of ground effect, let's look at Red Bull's floor and its unique characteristics. The center of the floor is notably lower than the rest, as it may be seen at first glance. In addition to numerous other components of the automobile, it holds the batteries and the tank. You can see the Venturi tunnels and their forms next to them on the left and right. Red Bull's painstaking approach is evident in the complicated three-dimensional design, since each feature has a precise function. Even if we are unable to pinpoint every detail's purpose, we may examine those components that best represent the guiding principles of engineering. There are tunnels that route the wind tunnel toward the sides of the automobile at the front of the floor. These have a different function and are not Venturi tunnels. They are in charge of generating an outwash airflow from the vehicle that steers the turbulent air produced behind the front tyres as far away from the vehicle as is practical. This keeps the turbulent air from pouring over the back of the automobile, enhancing the performance of aerodynamic parts like the rear wing. Other teams' vehicles have these tunnels as well, and they are all a mess the same. Let's now turn our attention to the tunnels that are closer to the centre of the floor. Red Bull has made a tall tunnel work. The Red Bull tunnels are noticeably taller than those used by other teams according to comparison. Given that we have established that narrowing the tunnels increases airflow speed and, as a result, downforce, this may initially appear paradoxical. However, the amount of airflow moving beneath the automobile and speed are always trade-offs. Larger tunnels allow for a lower velocity and high volume of airflow. This decision is made by the team, and Red Bull stands apart from the rest due to the narrower tunnels employed by other F1 teams. This specific shape makes it possible to use a suspension that is comparatively softer. As we all know, downforce puts strain on the suspension as well as the automobile. The floor of the entire automobile may be lowered even farther at high speeds by having a softer suspension setup. Therefore, even though the Red Bull tunnels have taller roofs, their height is essentially the same as the traditional low tunnels used by other teams, since the entire car can be forced lower. F1 vehicles with firmer suspension and lower tunnels are unable to attain the same low height without bouncing. Except for Red Bull, several teams had porpoising issues at the start of the 2022 season. Drivers are put in danger by this bouncing phenomenon, which led the FIA to enact additional rules. While other teams struggle to find a solution, Red Bull sees the opportunity and advance farther in other areas. Another intriguing technical feature of the RB19 can be seen. Their diffuser, which is placed at a noticeably greater angle than other teams. The angle of the diffuser is important because if it is too big, the airflow may split and fail to generate downforce as intended. This stall condition is typically undesirable and is known in aerodynamics. The function of this diffuser design in an open DRS drag reduction system configuration, however, is significant. The rear wing, beam wing, and diffuser can communicate with one another thanks to Red Bull's innovative design. To put it another way, the airflow around the diffuser is influenced by the airflow around the rear wing. Due to the high diffuser angle, there is a substantial change in the airflow through the diffuser when the rear wing is open, which causes flow separation. This effect becomes favourable in these circumstances since it significantly decreases aerodynamic drag. Red Bull's triple DRS theory, which explains the astounding speeds their cars reach when the DRS is engaged, provides a foundation for this idea. Furthermore, it is challenging to fully appreciate the intricate nuances of this system. Because the RB19's exceptional grip, the drivers can confidently stand on the gas pedal as soon as they exit the turns, which will benefit them on the following straight. The drag and downforce levels will be impacted by every aerodynamic surface, and Red Bull has nailed the new rules in this regard. The vehicle is producing so much downforce in the bends when the speed is above 120 mph, thanks to their side pod package, which several teams have attempted to imitate, and more significantly the floor. What's more amazing is that the Red Bull accelerates faster than any other vehicle when the DRS opens, which is a significant benefit of the vehicle's rear aerodynamics. The person most responsible for the RB19 success, Adrian Newey, constantly highlights how an F1 vehicle is made up of several technical details that must all function perfectly together. To fully comprehend the dynamics at play, it is essential to analyse the automobile as a whole and comprehend the design philosophy that guided it. It's nevertheless true that Red Bull performed exceptionally well as a team. Their flooring is only a piece of large and complex jigsaw. While the teams may readily copy its design, the intended result cannot be attained without incorporating the additional components required to make the automobile work efficiently as a whole. The Red Bull Racing Team's RB19 is a speed demon thanks to its cutting-edge technology and the precision of its drivers. Watch them dominate the track and subscribe to our channel for more details.